Hey guys, welcome to the Mesh PBL. Today we're going to look at mesh resolvers. Mesh resolvers are another one of the utilities that come with mesh. And mesh resolvers allow us to turn Cardano objects into useful information, and we're going to see some examples of how to do that in this lesson. You can see that those examples here. If you go click here, you'll see these examples right now. These are live. So if you connect your wallet, this is sort of what we're going to be working on. Just gotta get permission, and so you can get the data hash, you can get the reward address, you're gonna get Plutus script address and hash, and Epoch and slot. This is what we're going to be working on, except it's going to be run locally from our computers. So let's disconnect here, close this here, and you can see that we can get the source code. So I already have that running, but what this looks like is if you want to get this in your local computer, you would just go, I can go CC, so you see I have my mesh folder here. You would just go git clone and then just copy and paste this link here. And that we would clone this repo into your computer. We're going to work on each of these components individually, and this is how it's going to look when we put them all together. Right, so let's stop doing this, and let's go to the first part of the first example, which is getting a transaction hash from a transaction with Datum. So you can see the code here on the left. It's going to look identical with the code on the right here. There's a card component here that maybe I used it to style, but that's irrelevant. I don't think it's not important for this example. So you can see here all the use wallet hook, use address, use state. There's some functions here that we're going to talk about, and then on the bottom you're just returning some stuff, right? You're just rendering a card in this case, which has some information that you can see here. In here. So if, for example, let's just get rid of all the other components. This is what you're seeing, right? This is the card which has this information, and we're going to render the data hash and the transaction hash. Again, let's look here and let's look here, and you can see here that we're returning the get transaction hash or connect wallet first if it's not connected, and then we have all these the data hash and the transaction hash, and we're just inserting these values that we're grabbing from these queries that we're doing to the wallet, and once we convert them with the mesh resolvers, they show on the screen. So what are we doing here? We are, like the lesson says here, and you can always go to like PBL mesh.js and you can find all the modules. You can do it for yourself, but we're doing it right now. So we're basically resolving data hash. Again, we imported it here, and resolve transaction hash resolvers. These are the two resolvers that we're using. We're importing them from the mesh SDK core package, right? So this is the function that we're going to use to get the transaction hash. And this does is just it builds a transaction that sends Loveless to our address with a custom datum, so we can then grab it and render it on the screen. So the resolve data hash, which we have here, it's a function. We use this function to convert the datum to a hash, which we are setting the value for. We are setting the variable here, but we are also setting this up here so that the state, this helps us set this state. So we're grabbing the value, which is data hash, and then we're setting it as the data hash, which allows us to then insert it here in the bottom. Okay, so so we're using it to convert the datum to a hash, which is used when the datum is not supplied as an inline datum. So then the resolve transaction hash, where is that one? Here at the bottom. So we're setting a variable called transaction hash, which is also set here, which is going to be part of the state. And we're going to use this resolve transaction hash. Again, we imported it from the mesh SD core package here to resolve the unsigned transaction hash, right? So this function, the resolve transaction hash, is used to convert the unsigned transaction to a hash. And we're using, again, the useState hook that's from React to store both the data hash and the transaction hash. So that's what we're doing here, right? We're using the useState hooks here, which are now empty right now, to turn the add values to these two variables, two constants that we're setting up here. But the idea is we are setting state for the component. This is a stateful component. Because I'm exporting it here, I'm exporting it as a default function, I can then go to the index, which again, if you go to the folder, utilities resolver, you're finding an index here. And I can just import that component. I just import transaction head from the directory. And then I can just add it here as a component and render it on the screen. Moving on to the second example. The second example is so what we're gonna do here is gonna comment this one out, and then we're gonna uncomment this one. So I'm gonna do these individually because it's better. And now you don't see anything again, right? This is gonna work, but we're not seeing the transaction hash example, but this works because the code is already there. But we're gonna look at it and then we're gonna see what's there. So back to now my folder, and we're doing the reward address. So what's happening here? Again, I'm using a card. Forget about that. That doesn't matter. But we're importing again a resolver, and this one is the resolve reward address, right? And we're using we're doing basically the same thing, right? We're setting some variables, constants, which is the use wallet hook to use a wallet. Basically, this allows us to connect a wallet and get information from that wallet. We're setting an address constant because we need that address to get the reward address. It's just information that's contained in that address. And then we're using the useState to set the value for that reward address that we're going to get using the resolve reward address resolver. That sounds redundant. So again, the code here, the same as the code here, and here you can see the explanation. So just as in the previous example, we're using the resolve reward, we're using a mesh resolver and a use effect hook to get the reward address of the user whenever the wallet address changes. So this reward address can be used to check whether the user is staking or not. Or to build a transaction to delegate to your pool. So let's go back and connect the wallet, and that's it. Okay, now let's go to another example, which is the Plutus, get a Plutus script address and hash. Again, you're gonna comment this one out and gonna uncomment this one, and let's check this one out. So again, code is going to be the same as in the lesson. So you can look at the lesson and instead of looking at my code here, it's going to be the same pretty much. Oh, okay. And as you can see in the top, we're importing some resolvers from the core package, a mesh SDK core package. One of them is the mesh and the resolve Plutus script address, and the other one is the resolve Plutus script hash, which are the two values that you can see here. One is the script address and the other one is the script hash. So let's look again at the component. And as you can see, like React uses a lot of patterns, and you're going to start seeing, hopefully you can start seeing that things repeat a lot. So you're going to see a lot of use state. Again, we're implementing the resolve Plutus script address resolver. Just as before, we have to set the state. So what's the state? What's going to change in this component is the script address and the script hash. So we need something to allow us to set that value for both of them, which is this one. And we also need what are the values that are going to be rendered? What are the values that are going to be expressed? What are we going to pull out and then show on the screen? So now using this use effect hook, to just get a script value for a Plutus script type value. So we're gonna set a constant, variable, constant. I'm just saying because variables are variable, constants are constant. That's redundant again. But we're getting, just for the example, for this example, we have this hard-coded value. We've been given this value that just kind of renders an always succeed script, and we're setting the version of this Plutus script. That's just for the, so we can get this address and this hash. So we resolve the address of an always succeed smart contract, which is this one here, and converted the address to a Plutus script hash. And this can be used to build custom minting transactions in your application. So that's the second example, the Plutus script address. Let's get this done. I'm gonna close this one, gonna comment this out, and the final one is in slot Epoch example. Cool, so let's go back again, and you can see again that it doesn't matter. My wallet is not connected, but we're still getting this because this is querying the blockchain. This is not querying my wallet. My wallet doesn't need this information, right? The Epoch and everything, you can get it and you can render it, but it's more application type thing, right? It's not something that you would have in your wallet. There's no point in that. So let's open that component. So if I go here again, you can see my slot Epoch example card. Again, doesn't matter. The resolvers are what matter here. So what resolvers are we using? You can, and again, where am I getting these resolvers? You can go to mesh.js, utilities, and we can look at that after if you want, or just go to mesh.js and explore. You'll find all these utilities there that are included within the Mesh SDK core package. But anyways, two resolvers, the Epoch number, slot number. And you can probably figure out by now how these work, right? These are the values that we're getting. Same pattern again, right? We need a slot, we need an Epoch, and we need some way to set those from the values that we're gonna get. A couple things here, use effect hook and set interval are, again, React hooks. And if you want to look at set interval, there's a link in the lesson you see here for this Geeks for Geeks, which tells you a little bit about how to use set interval. I would also recommend checking out the React documentation. It's again, all that we're doing after here is just returning these values, right? We're just returning the slot number and the Epoch number. We already saw how we're setting them. We already saw these on the other components. It's the same exact pattern. In this case, for example, what we're doing is, because we're querying the blockchain, these resolvers only ask us for a value, which is what we're providing here. And you can see that what the resolver is asking us to set is what network are we using, and what interval do you want this to resolve to. So what we're telling it is, let's take a look at the pre-prod network, and let's resolve this value every 1,000 milliseconds. That's what we're doing here, and that's what's being rendered here is this slot, which is the slot value that we're setting here, right? Basically, like in the other examples. And that's pretty much it, right? That's the last of it. That's the last component. We're with the same as the same. We're exporting it at the top here, and then we're importing it here, and then you can render it here. This is just a neater way. Like, we can have all this code, and I can copy and paste this and just paste it all here, and it will run the same way. This is just a way to keep it neater, to keep it a little bit more readable. It's easier to kind of go through, and you can, if something's not working, you can debug easier when it's separate than when it's all in the same thing, right? You can imagine if you had all the other code from all the other components that we looked here, it would take a little bit more time to run through it and figure out where things are going wrong. So now let's uncomment everything, right? So just the same as if you had all the code in this page, now because we just uncommented all the components, again, everything is here. Again, these values are hard-coded, and these values are coming from the blockchain. So these are not wallet dependent. These don't matter. This happens immediately when I uncomment the component, because it doesn't depend on this interaction with the app. But for these two, this does depend. So I'm not going to get this stake address until I connect my wallet, because value is coming from my wallet. I'm not going to get the transaction hash because that's coming from my wallet as well. This is from the component sending that, remember, the transaction, and we're getting the datum and the hash from that transaction. All right, that's pretty much it. So now you're understanding the basic use of mesh resolvers and how to add them to your app, which is pretty cool, right? I think it's pretty cool. Okay, guys, that's all for this lesson. And see you next time.